Hey everyone, welcome. We're going to go ahead and go over the patch notes that have been released for Modern Warfare. It's going to be a fun situation since crossplay has been into the universe of gaming now more expanded past the Rocket League that we started to see that all the gaming companies talked about. This is a larger step forward and a patch that's going to be larger for your download. So let's go ahead and look at what the highlights of the 10th as well as what the highlights of the crossplay are going to entail inside of these patch notes. You'll see right here that the Call of Duty Warzone will be in your emblem depending on what system you have. I'm using my PlayStation 4 Pro, but if you have PC, there's a lot of fixes that we'll be getting into as well that are going to be expanding your gameplay and a little bit more longevity. So let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of the crossplay. So the process is pretty straightforward. When you're dropped into a battle royale with up to 150 people, you're going to be given the opportunity to put in your friend's gamer tag. So if you know that and the platform and what they're playing, that is the literally key maker to opening up that matrix door. So with moving on towards that, we got a big digestible point of the patch notes. But you're here and I want to thank you for joining me in the gaming news. My name is Mac and you're at the MacGyver 7th channel, and let's go ahead and dive into what we have for as far as the patch notes. 3 modes make the playlist. On top of the search and rescue, you have the Mayhem Mosh Pit with the 10 on 10 drop zone and crate, on top of the boots on the ground being removing. The new shotgun, the VLK Rogue, fixed bugs for as far as the respawning process after the nuke has been set off in the realism ground mode. Increase the damage to the Juggernaut when being hit by the thermite crossbow. Various exploit fixes including the Hackling Yard and the Piccadilly situations, they have been polished over. They've been having a lot more exploits that we'll be getting into 2 down the bug list that they have, the next being the pistol, and one of them equipped would be appearing when climbing up the ladder. A little bit of an annoying bug, but now has been polished up for as far as the graphical point of your enjoyment. Pixel for pixel, it should be working. For as far as the bugs of any charm alongside the MP7, the Bengal variant would clip through the weapon, no longer does so. The variant ground for as far as the exploit and fixes is they basically go into the situation of what's been having, and then the bugs that consistent the yellow and the high alert screens would persist after the death even if the player had died while the perk had been granted during the specialist. The bugs in the after action reports when displayed on the zeros and the challenge failed even if the challenge had been completed. Now scrolling down a little longer for as far as the patch notes go, we'll see it thins a little bit but still adds to the portion for as far as the spawn players elsewhere on the map while using the tactical insertion near the crawl space near Rust. For as far as the bugs in the giant infection, you have the modes that spam the ratio of VO across the teammates. When the players is drivers or passengers, these are the ones that are most afflicted by that situation, as they make that just damn near tongue-tying to say. Now looking at the situation for as far as the bugs that allow the players to deploy in throwable fields and the upgrades during the round count, which is so much easier to say, after that count in the end, the players would have another field that the upgrade was available. This has been fixed. The added option to the toggle and the squares in the circular map, that has been also a situation that has been polished up over on top of the minimap. Now as far as going down to the Call of Duty leagues, you can see the restrict on top of the 357 caliber snake shot for as far as the CDL playlists and publics. The 725 sawed-off shotgun, it's a variety of increasements for as far as the movement, ADS, spread damage, and as well as the reduced far damage and the extended very lethal close range damage, which makes sense, it's a shotgun. They're making it feel way more cooler. For as far as the fix for the Ram 7 variant inside of the Corruptor, not allowing the use of the sniper scope. For as far as the bugs that were plaguing the situation of what's going down in the infinite ammo glitch that the model 680 was starting to basically bring a lot of people to more than likely calling hack, hack, hack. Yes, that has been fixed by infinityward, thankfully, so you no longer will have to deal with that pesky situation. For as far as looking as the updating ammo description for as far as the LMG and the shotguns when the skull hammer comes into play as for shotguns, since we have 2 shotguns on the list today. We follow the situations for as far as the NVG thermal scope, as far as the 5.56 GAR. That could be the graphic bugs for as far as those, going down to now the mission challenges. We see new things like 1 shot, 1 kill, the splash metal on the screens, and the sniper rifle when utilizing the fixed inside of the display whenever any 1-shot weapon like a shotgun or marksman rifle was used. For as far as the get 50, and with that, with the LMG challenge not being tracked as intended, that should be as well within your reach in order to get nowadays. The fixed golems for the 3rd mission objectives: get 5 kills using your lethal equipment, not tracking properly. And any vehicle now rewards the progress inside of the challenges that require the X in the vehicles running on the overkill. The update that splashes the screen in the in-game HUD as the players make progress in the mission alliance, and then now the classic special operations fixes, for as far as the prevented players from being able to finishing the moves on the enemy's AI as well has been fixed. The bomb squad fixed for the bugs their enemies may not be spawning after all. The last bug is diffused. On top of that, the specialist gets a survival perk in the situation of looking at the leaderboards inside of the caves on night, and the Saints had been added. The special operations continue down the situation as the cameras is now in the fixed position when reviving inside of the prone and or crouch. The hostage will reset in the safe area if dropped out of bounds. The fix in the ending of the last alive player is called to the team revival, but it goes down before the other player revives them. And the situation that goes into the fixed instance when the Juggernaut music could not stay in a off position. In the situation where the heavy hitter weapon perk was in the melee of damage 2. Now looking in the ensure portion of what the player who parachutes and receives the out of boundary warning should no longer drift into that big. Now looking at the very bottom of the list, as we scrub off the bug list, we look at the situation of the hint prompts as the situational points of players that are in the last stand mode. The situation that the fixed and edge in the case that could prevent 4 squad leaders from spawning in a during Operation Headhunt, and the operation that the fixed just rewards, those cell phones and the intels would drop now should be fixed. The operation also comes into play with the Wilson not running the XP, now doing so, and then the keyboard and mouse making towards the PC bend for the KPM players, and the right click in the usernames in the social media tab now being able to have that displayed. There's several fixes that come down to after that are mobility, stability, and movement for as far as the PC performance. Hopefully, if not, drop a comment down below. Would love to hear what the community has to say. But the new PC playlist and situation of the player, go to your latest BattleNet for the client and now have simply access in the one-time creation of the Activision account using the BattleNet credentials. The situation for as far as the fixed a few cases where certain social menus pop up in the messages that would not display in the correct ratio aspects. But that's pretty much it in our news. What I will say is thank you so much for joining me today in the patch notes. If you are new to the network, you can always subscribe. It's absolutely free. It helps me as a creator. And if you subscribe today, who knows? Maybe they'll continue to do all this really cool stuff, and maybe this won't be the only game that does crossplay really well. And I think that that's one of the situations that, like, hopefully a lot of games take advantage past. Rocket League, now a major AAA title like COD coming into a gameplay and giving us a really great showmanship for as far as what the system could look like. Now hopefully it performs, but it's probably going to have its bugs, so definitely drop a comment down below if that's a situation that you're hitting. But I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much, and I'll see you in the near future, everyone. Have a very nice day.